Okay, folks, here we are again. Friday night. This is exactly where we left off, and I actually had some developments happen, and that was kind of my whole reason to get on here is to test and see if they work. The development I had is on the internet, and let's flip this thing around. And I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to make a difference, but the big difference here is, I don't think I can touch that yet. No, I actually can touch it. Hold on a second. Let me just bear with me for a second. No, is we upgraded our internet finally. Finally, finally. We've been on DSL since about 21 years, and the technology really hasn't gotten any better for us. So that was one of the hangups why the connection speed and the video quality was so poor. Now, I've got to do some researching this weekend. There's not going to be any painting in the morning, so we're going to do some hobby related stuff today. I don't know exactly what it is, but one of the things I wanted to test for the connection speed is, and I am not a technology guy, so I am not sure if this is going to solve it. I am still streaming through my phone, but I am no longer streaming on a mobile connection. So I am wirelessly through the cable modem in the house. And I got the number stats from it, and it's pretty close to my 5G connection. It's almost the same. So it's plenty fast to be able to film this in better than 720p. So I just checked. I got my computer on here as well, and it doesn't look like it's available higher than 720p. And so one of the things I got to figure out is that because it's going through a phone, and no matter what kind of connection the phone is, I'm only going to have the 720. If that case, I'm going to have to look into getting a camera to go through the computer because this is just kind of a waste being dumbed down to this level. So, but I did want to check and see if I could get 1080 through this connection, and it doesn't look like I can. Maybe I've got to tinker with some other stuff and do something else, but well, that looks better. No. Anyhow, we'll see. We'll keep working on it. Maybe in the next month or whatever. But I'll have to watch some videos. There's lots of stuff on there, like what cameras to use and stuff like that. I don't want to spend a ton of money, but I've got a modern computer that could certainly handle it, and that sort of thing. So we can do better than this. Anyhow, to be continued. But I do have a connection speed at least now. Like a first world country. Let's put it that way. And just to kind of give you an idea, my 5G connection, download at 91.7, upload at 36.9. Now my cable modem is download at 104, so it's a little faster. The upload 21.9 is a little slower. But I believe the minimum you have to have a connection at 1080 is like 6 download and upload 3. So I'm killing those numbers, but the fact that it still recognizes it as being a phone per se, I'm just using the camera function as the phone. I wanted to see if that was, we might have to tinker with it because I don't want to buy a camera. Here's the thing. I already have a phone. It's expensive. And the more uses you can have for expensive thing, the more cost effective it is. So, whatever camera I get is not going to have the resolution that this phone has. I mean, this phone can film in 8K. So, I'll have to find out exactly what's going on here. But it might take me a few days to get the answer, but keep our fingers crossed we can do better than that. So, we've got some crossbowmen coming in the mail. They did not arrive today. I'm sure they'll arrive over the weekend, as I would imagine, because I can't work on them. We also got The last episode that you guys saw, I was trying to work with some green stuff. I'm totally a noob at it, but I did watch some videos on it. Couple things, I didn't know you have to wet your hands and stuff like that. So we've got some tools for green stuff coming in as well. They'll come in over the weekend, so hopefully we can start tinkering with that. Because I don't want to just throw things on this guy and call it a day. But it does look like this is the figure that I'm going to use for the Pope. And yeah, he has a pointy little thing on his head because we want his little hat to get attached on there. Okay, but we're going to probably have to grind this hood off of him. All right, because I do not want, he's going to have a totally different robe. So we're going to make that out of green stuff. That's the intention. But anyhow, to be continued. All right, so since we can't work on that, what can we work on for this army? All right, well, we can try working on the standard bearer. Now, let me take I totally unprepared for this because I just wanted to see if I could get, I mean, literally I've had this cable connection now for just a matter of a few hours. They came today and took care of that. So, yeah, I can already tell on the computer here, I can actually see it pretty clearly, but it's not 1080. I don't know why, but anyhow, look, it's even uploading a Steam thing as we talk. Don't you hate that? When you go and you want to use something and then you can't do it, but luckily I don't need to do anything on Steam right now. All right, so let's pull some pictures of some medieval popes here and see what we come up with. But, now we can mess with OBS and that kind of stuff. So to be continued, we'll see if we can make a step forward here and do things a little better. I mean, it might take a little bit of time, but that was definitely a big hurdle, a long time coming. So let's do a search here for medieval. It would be nice if it would type medieval pope. Why am I typing things here and it's not happening? Let's try that again. Let's add one. Medieval. There we go. Pope. No. And images. And what I'm looking for is his entourage. Okay, so it looks like this guy, the Pope guy, is definitely going to be mostly red. All right, so the question is the people that he's surrounded with, we've got these guards here that are white and red. I totally can see this helper guy being some form of white and red as well. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so he's got some guys that came to visit him, monks, that are dressed in brown and ones that are dressed in black. Okay, well, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint this monk guy with brown robes for sure. Now, the assistant guy, we can do different colors with that. Let's do what we know. Okay, so we're going to make this monk brown. Okay. All right. I gotta paint him anyways, so. And this guy is from Museum Miniatures, this particular figure here. All right, so let's get a brown. Let's look at what leather brown looks like. Flat earth. Chocolate brown. It doesn't really matter that much which one I use. But I might as well, I have one called leather brown. I might as well use that one. What's this color? Leather brown. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the screen here. So, doesn't look like I have a 1080 connection. Honestly, I'm not surprised. We'll have to see. There's videos of wizards that do that, you know, how to stream using your phone and stuff like that. I'm just like, you know, even if I like hard connect this through the computer and then run it through the computer, maybe I got to do that. I'm not a technology guy. I'd like to see if somebody's already invented how to do this. So let's de-jewelry up. We don't need this crap in our life right now. But I'm sure I'll have time to figure out what it is. This phone has a better camera than I'm ever going to buy. So, you know, why not use that? I already have it. Okay, so let's get the magic liquids out, which is the thinner. Should have got plenty of it there. All right, we got black. Let's get the leather brown here as the base. All right. And no need to use the most detailed brush I have when we're doing the overall figure. So let's see. This one should do fine. All right, let's do the base color and mix this up. Do we have a, we do. But I'm going to be away for the weekend, so there won't be any filming tomorrow morning, and there won't be any on Sunday morning either. So we should have a video on Monday, not sure what it is. Of course, we don't even know what we're doing yet at this point because everybody waits till the last minute to decide, so you just have to bear with us. All right. Oh, that's a little too light. Let's get a little bit more shadow in there. All right, we're just going to paint everything because this guy's wearing a whole hood and a whole getup and everything. Totally brown. He's a brother from another mother. This guy should paint up really fast, by the way. There's not going to be a whole lot of colors on him. Well, let me know if you guys are watching this and it looks any better than it normally does. But I don't think that's the case. Might be a little bit less glitchy or whatever. I know sometimes you have connection problems just from it being a mobile connection. All right, let's go ahead and take, it must be too close to the wall. Let's try that. Honestly, don't know where I got these little monks from. I probably had them a long time. Might have grabbed them from that guy that was selling things at Historicon in 2007. 2006 and 2007. This guy was carrying a museum here in the States and he was selling them by the each. Talk about a man after my own heart. But then he went out of business. He wouldn't take credit cards. He wouldn't take debit cards. You had to basically snail mail stuff to him and hopefully he would get it. And this was in 2006. So even by that time, I wasn't snail mailing anything. I don't buy stamps and you know, wait a week to hopefully they get it. You know, it's just, that's too 18th century for me. So yeah, guy went out of business. So like I picked up a lot of stuff from him before he did. Yeah, the guy's like, no, you can't pay with credit card. You can't do this. I'm like, even at that time, I could take PayPal payments. Okay, so they charge you a surcharge. So say they charge you 6%. So mark up your prices 12%. Now you made even more money. But you people want to pay for things immediately, so you can start working on getting them to them. Like today, I was low on contacts. I had to order contacts, and the same day I ordered them, they already mailed them out. So yeah, it's how it should work. Get rid of stuff so you can start working on the next order. So this guy doesn't have a lot in the way of different things on there. Ben Waddy, welcome. The video quality is better and a little less washed out than before. Okay. Well, the connection speed's about the same, but I think the fact that it's mobile is a little bit less, little bit more odd. No, there's no way to adjust that there. Let's settings. No, still 720. Yeah, I'll have to watch a video this weekend. That's going to be my. I'll be away, but I'm not going to be without an internet connection. That's going to be my homework assignment. My homework assignment is look for videos. It's like, hey, I want to stream YouTube in 1080 or better. No reason to limit it to 1080. But I want to use my phone as the camera. What do I need to do? What kind of stuff do I need to buy? Obviously, I want to use the phone. This phone is capable of filming in 8K. I've never done it, but it's capable of doing that. If I were to buy a camera that mounts on my computer, because the computer comes with a camera, but it's not, that's not what it's for. Okay. But if I have to buy a separate computer, separate camera for the computer, it's not going to be a camera that's, it's not going to be a several $100 camera. So, it's not going to be as good a quality as the phone is. So I need to find a way to get the phone to do it, because it's not like I'm going to be taking phone calls while I'm filming this. It's going to be, one thing at a time. So hopefully we can make progress on that. But I'm not a technology person, but I am a YouTube junkie. So if there's an answer to be found on YouTube, I can find it, and we'll get through it. The main thing was get this internet connection working at home, so I can be rid of DSL. You have the same DSL for like 20 years. So, we literally, if somebody was watching one show, it wouldn't stream clearly, and you couldn't get on it if somebody was already on it. So it was very, people complain about having a bad connection. Yeah, you have no idea. You have no idea. So I was just streaming all these shows through on my 5G phone connection. But the fact that it is a phone mobile connection, YouTube, because I couldn't figure out what it was, and I finally found out that YouTube automatically dumbs down your connection, your stream resolution to 720 max, and regardless of what your phone could do. So we'll see if there's a workaround to get around that. So now we're streaming this through the cable modem, not on a mobile connection. So there's about the same speed, just that this one's probably more stable. So, been a long time coming. All right. So we still have some white that's alive. Let's go ahead and put some more white down there just to be safe. Yeah, I don't mind throwing money at the problem as long as it solves the problem. But, you know, I'm very leery of ordering things and they don't work. So I prefer to get things through, well, now there's not much of it. I prefer to get things through Amazon. There's not really much of a choice other than doing that. Because at least it's easy to return things. I don't want to buy the wrong item and then get stuck with it, you know? So. But I did watch some videos since the last one about how to work with green stuff. I'll admit I'm a total noob. I didn't know that you needed to keep your hands a little moist so the green stuff doesn't stick to your hands. Not that I was really having an issue with that, but we got some tools coming in also for that. I already had the sculpting tools. I didn't realize that's what they were. I use them to put my goop on my stands. So I'm not going to do anything, you know, extravagant, but you know, certainly I can put a set of robes on somebody. You know, I mean, it's not my first rodeo. I have a clue, but there's a lot of really useful things on YouTube. You know, so that was one of the reasons I started doing this. Is I'm like, okay, I don't know everything about everything, even miniature wise, but you know, there's some stuff that I've acquired some knowledge through trial and error, and I don't mind sharing that with you guys. Maybe it'll make your gaming or painting experience easier of something that I almost think that's second nature. So. Whew. So that's going to be my homework assignment for the weekend is figure out how to. It may be that I have to go through the computer. No, I'm not sure how to do that. I'll figure it out. There's enough people doing videos that people do a lot better quality videos than I do that make things a lot clearer. So, but I know I have a modern phone and a modern computer, so there's no reason why, now that we've got the internet connection issue resolved, you know, that we can do that. Just adding some highlights on here. I could have made them black as well, but I think brown makes a more, you know, monk thing. I thought you were away this weekend. I am, but it's not yet. It's Friday night, so we're going to leave in the morning. I don't think I'll have a chance to do some painting in the morning. Might just be able to sneak some in. But quality looks better. Okay, so it's already a step forward. That's good. Is the sound any better? I wonder. But I needed to test it, so this is kind of the test bed. I'm not surprised that I can't get 1080 on this. I know I'm going to have to do some kind of a tinkering. Saturday spring cleaning for you. Spring sounds the same. All right. Well, sorry I can't get any better. Spring cleaning? What's this spring you're talking about? Not only is it a totally different day and a totally different time, it's a totally different season for you Southern Hemisphere people. Hold up a finished figure so we can see. Okay. Let's see. How about... Got to use this because it helps not be so shaky. Let's look at these guards that are on the Pope stand. They're going to be on each corner. that look better? Here, I'll have a drink. Iced coffee. Looks better on the computer. Just wait till we get this on 1080. We can do better than this. You know, it's one of those things when I first started filming, okay? I wanted to get a tripod. I have one, right? Well, I didn't want to spend, I don't want to buy a $200 one because what if I filmed one game and I didn't like doing it or what, you know, now it's like, I don't mind buying, I mean, not that I want to throw money away, but I'm just saying is I'm getting use out of my camera stuff. It's not like I'm going to stop filming, you know, next week or something like that. That's much better, sharper, and focuses quicker. Okay. Yeah, well, I watched like the videos that I do, and like, they just look like crap. And you take pictures of it. It's like, oh, the figures look a lot better. Well, they always look like that to me. The problem is you guys can't see them. So, um, yeah, I don't know who makes these figures. These are definitely old school figures. I mean, are they something like Thistle and Rose or something like that? I'm not sure who makes these guys. They don't look like anything that I have. You know, obviously they're not Essex. They're not minifigs. They're not. I don't think they're Magister, Militum, or Chariot. Um, yeah, I'm not sure who makes them, but I like them. They got character. They've got character. So good. It's a small step forward, if nothing else, right? We'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, we've been on DSL for like 20 years. Our speed hasn't gone up higher, and now everything is just very demanding. So we had trouble streaming one show reliably, and that's with nobody else on it. So we'll get there. I just need to watch some videos. There's wizards out there that know all about this stuff. They can't paint figures, but they know about cameras and all that kind of stuff. So I've just haphazardly figured out how to do what I've done. But yeah, because the thing about technology that I hate is it changes too fast. Okay, I don't do it for a living, so I find it extremely frustrating to you learn something and then what you've learned is only good for like 3 or 4 months, and the technology has just changed. Like, oh, we don't do it that way anymore. It's like I just find it frustrating. It'd be like, you know, if after 3 months I didn't know how to paint anymore. You know, it's just not my thing. You know, so okay. So back to the monkey here. Stall set. So that makes me feel better, Dirk. That we're moving in the right direction. Now I know people in the neighborhood have complained about the cable company and the about the internet, but I have a feeling that we won't be one of the complainers because it is so far. Like I said, our technology that we've had hasn't changed in 20 years. So we just took like a light speed step forward. So I do it for a living and you find it frustrating. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, some people have the personality type for that. I don't. And you know what makes it really frustrating is when something like I'll use an example. I'll use a real life example that happened to me. Okay. We have a server at work where all our files are on, and we're talking like Excel files. I use Excel a lot at work. Nothing super complicated with formulas, but just different tabs and things like that, you know, for different projects and stuff that we have at work, right? So you have a sign in that you're automatically signed in as yourself on your own computer, and then the files are kind of in a shared location that anybody can access, but only one person can modify at once. So, like if I'm in a folder and I'm trying to, you know, make a new add something to it, and somebody else is already in there, it'll tell me who's in there. And, you know, do I want to open as a read only? Well, you don't want to do that because you forget that you open it as a read only. And then when you want to get out, it'll ask you to save. And then you can't save it because you opened it as a read only. And then you have to change the name of the file. Anyways, that's pretty much common occurrence. It doesn't happen that often, but because I'm usually in folders that other people don't use. But anyways, I digress. The problem becomes is there's sometimes when I'll open a folder that I'm the only person that goes in there. Okay. And like I go in a folder and there's a particular thing that I go in and modify or create a mirror image of it or something like that. And I'll close it, save it as something else. And I go in and try to open it again and it won't let me in because it says I'm already in. So I can't even let myself in the same thing. And it takes like 2 or 3 days for it to burp itself out. Like I have a folder, for instance, that is a kind of a generic Excel sheet that I will modify and add a new job to it or whatever. So it's kind of like just imagine like a blank form, so to speak. So I'll open up the blank form and then I'll save it as a certain job, saved and then get out of it, right? Well, when I want to open the blank form again within a day or so, it'll say, well, you can't open it as you can only open it as a read only because you're still in it, and I'm not in it, and I'm like out of it, and like just weird things like that are just like makes it's like I don't need to be in IT because I can't understand how that works, you know. So, and of course, we don't really have any of those people on staff, so they can't tell you how it works either. Just weird things like that. Nothing major, but it's just like, it's just really kind of frustrating or whatever.
I'll grab some stuff.
Hmm?
I need to grab some.
Okay, go ahead and grab it. This? This? Here you go.
It's still wet.
Okay. You gonna go ahead and pack?
Yeah.
Okay. You good? Okay.
Love you.
Love you, baby.
Can I leave these in here and leave them right there?
You can just hang in. That's probably going to be the place where it's going to dry the most because I got the fan. They'll be fine in the morning. Just don't forget about them, okay? Love you. This is the painting room slash laundry room. Well, it's not really the laundry room, but we've got a rack here where I think I mentioned this earlier. I'd say 75% of our clothes we just hang dry, indoors, and because otherwise they'll shrink or they'll whatever. Just try to take care of them, and so yeah, this is where the had some laundry that she did and still drying. She wants it take it in the morning. Okay, so I think this is enough of the brown with this guy. Okay, and we will let's put some fleshy bits on them. Yeah, but not everybody is made, for that kind of for different personalities. Like for instance, people will be like, I know people at work. I've showed them when I do this. I'm like, I can't believe you have the patience to do this because I don't have a lot of patience at work. But the difference is this may take a while, but everything ends up coming out okay. Every session is always a win for me, you know. And that's the difference. Yeah, it may take forever, but it's not like you have to undo everything or somebody will come in, like it's not like I have to come in and somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I don't want you to paint the monk brown. I want you to paint him pink." Damn it, I already painted him brown. Let me repaint the whole. That doesn't happen, okay? Everything here in this hobby is all like positive. Yeah, it may take me 3 months or 4 months or 6 months to get an army done, but it's all positive things that happen. It's no frustration. So, it's not like you have this idea of, oh, I'm going to go play a video game and all of a sudden it doesn't work. My painting always works. So. Trust me, if it caused me some kind of turmoil like that, I wouldn't do this. I'm not interested in being frustrated. But some people, I think most people have patience for something. I don't have, the patience for. A lot of people don't like to wait. I don't mind waiting as long as I've got something to look at or watch or something like that. If I got a phone connection, yeah, I don't care about waiting. I don't want to stand in place for a long time, but if you got somewhere to sit down and I got an internet connection, oh, there's all kinds of stuff I'll just be surfing. So when I first started doing this video, it's like, okay, I had to get an upgrade on a phone. The phone could film, and I'm like, let's just try it and see what happens, And if it's not too much work, then we'll do it. And there's been times where I've almost said I'm not going to film anymore, and it's mainly due to not necessarily filming, but the first phone I was doing it on was a what was it? A Samsung 8 Plus? I think it was a Samsung 8 Plus, and it just didn't have enough RAM to compress the stuff. It was just too big. It would just take forever. And then this 20 can do it pretty good. And then I didn't have a computer. And then even if I edited on a computer, then I couldn't upload it. So I'm trying to upload it through a DSL that would take like 3 freaking days to do it. And it's not that it takes so long, but like for instance, there was a couple videos that were like, we're going like 2 years back, that I was trying to crunch it down with they call it exporting, okay? But I call it, compress it in a form that it can be sent out. And I was on vacation and I was trying to compress a video or something like that. And it took me like 6 tries, each one like 5 or 6 hours before it crapped out and I didn't get to go. It couldn't go any further. And I couldn't use my phone the entire time. And I'm almost like, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's just creating all kinds of frustration. And eventually I just kept at it, and eventually I got a better phone, and the RAM made a big difference. It's really not a problem with a new phone anymore. But yeah, I like the filming. The editing isn't too bad, but sometimes you're like, hey, let me find a song for my background thing. Hey, you could spend a whole day trying to find the perfect music, you know? Also, this is a solo hobby. Any F ups are your own. Yep. I can control this guy right here, okay? I can make things really difficult for this person right here. Yeah, this is therapy. This is therapy for me. And I've done this enough stuff. What I need to do more of is like freehand painting stuff. Like those background things, a couple of those background things that I paint. I've never done that in my life. I've never just painted things on a canvas. And I really should. Not that I'm going to be worth a damn, but well, it's going to look better than some famous artist. That's all I'm going to say. It may not make any money, but it's going to look better than some famous artist. It'll actually look. People will be able to tell. Oh yeah, you're trying to paint a koi fish there or something. You'll know that it's a fish. But the problem is not having the experience. Is you get painter's block and you're like afraid of, or at least I'm afraid of making a decision for fear of it not turning out like I was expecting it to. When I you just jump in and just start painting. Those little backgrounds that I've done, I've never done anything like that. They each took about 12 minutes to do. I used craft paint, and it was literally the easiest thing I've ever done. It was just, I mean, it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to, because I've never done it, but I have a clue, you know. So, I mean, I'm not Bob Ross, but that's just a trick too. I remember, and I've mentioned this before. Went to an art show several years ago, and my daughter was around 10 years old, 11 years old, something like that. And there was this guy who was painting on the street. He had an easel there, and he was set up, painting a painting. I don't think he was painting something he was looking at. He'd either taken a photo and was painting it, or he was just inventing it. Anyways, he was painting on a canvas. And my daughter was young enough that I remember her saying, "Hey, look, Daddy, he does painting like you do." Well, not really. I mean, because I'm painting something that's already three dimensional. But this guy was creating something out of nowhere. And then it kind of caught his attention. He's like, "Oh, you paint too?" I said, "Yeah, but I paint miniatures." You know, the reason, well, he wanted to see some pictures of them. So I pulled up on my site and he was like, "Man, those look really good." And I'm like, "Yeah, but mine are just, I don't know, maybe I was just selling my stuff short, but I think that somebody's already done the sculpting. I'm just kind of like paint by numbers kind of stuff." And, then I realized he doesn't know what my trick is. And it's probably seems to him what he's doing really easy because he's done it so many times and he knows what the trick is. And it's not that it's a trick per se, but if you do it enough times, you realize early on when you're creating something that you're going down the wrong track, and if you keep going the way you're going, the end result is not what you were looking for. And I don't know that because I'm new at that. Whereas miniature wise, if I'm painting in miniatures, when I start something doesn't start turning out well, I know early enough that I could change tack and not waste a lot of time with it. That's really what the experience is. And that was kind of cool. But yeah, the people that are painting things on canvas, the ones that paint well, this is child's play compared to what they do. That's you can't compare one thing or the other. You know, so anyhow, but yeah, I thought that was kind of unique that he he made a big deal out of this silly thing that we do, and I think this is just pretty darn easy. But then I've been doing it for a while, 35 years, 35 years. Worth a damn, probably 20. The last 20 probably worth a damn. But, you know, it is just a trick. And I'm sure that maybe other people that are into that. I mean, like I look at people that like play like a guitar and I'm like, I mean, how do you even begin? I'm not programmed for that. I think that some of us it's easier for us to do certain type of activities than others. Painting, drawing, things for me have been easy because, I get it from my dad. My dad he didn't do it for a living. He did it as a hobby, but he did draw and he was a better artist than I could ever be. But, a lot of that is genetic. So he didn't paint figures. I could outpaint him, but he could outdraw me like nobody's business. Dad, paint me a shark or paint me a dinosaur or do this, that, and the other. He had that good eye. I'm out of practice big time. I draw better than most people, but that's not saying anything. But I don't draw anymore. Pretty much stopped drawing when I started painting. So let's see. Let me think about this. If this guy's like this, I'm going to see fingers. Got it. All right, let's paint some fingers across. It's try to, anyways. This is totally flat. There is no indentations or anything. So this is just flying solo. You tell people you paint toy soldiers for a hobby, and they go, "Oh yeah," and then they see the end result, and then they're blown away. Yeah, and then there's lots of people that put what I do to shame. You know, and I don't find it threatening. I find it empowering. I'm like, okay, I could do better. Let me try to, do better. There's some wizards out there, you know. But it's hard to find people that live in the same place you do that paint. It's very, very difficult. Many years ago, 96, 97, was that many years ago? I guess it was. That is a long time. My buddy Jeff would come over, and he would come over on Wednesdays, and we'd paint. And I was single at the time, and we had a room that was the painting room, and we had a 3 foot 3 foot table. It was 3 foot wide, and it was about, I think it was the small one. It was like 6 foot wide, 6 foot long and 3 foot wide. And he'd bring his stuff and leave his paints and all that stuff there, and we just chit chat and painted. So I got used to having painting being kind of a social activity. And when he moved away, I'm like, I don't want to sit in a room by myself and paint. That's boring, you know. So if we'd had this, that would have been a lot better, you know. But you know, different times. But it's hard to find people to paint. And everybody's don't have time for it. Well, I just think of it as, therapy. I have to make time for this or I'm gonna go crazy. You're gonna hear about me in the news. And not in a good way. Now, if every time I painted, I hated how things turned out and it would make me angry, yeah, I wouldn't paint. But that's not what this is. All right, we're gonna have to lighten this up a little bit more. Maybe not that much. Jeez. He's up there. It's not perfect, but it is totally flat. Let's kind of get an inkling of something going on there with some fingerage. Fingerage. Let's paint his face. One of my favorite things to do is paint faces. Who would have thunk it? Not draw them, paint them. It brings them to life. All right, beard. Let's make it black, and we'll make him graying a little bit. Yeah, if this caused turmoil, I wouldn't do it. It'd be like if every time I had a drink, I'd get in a bar fight. Why would you do that? Not me. You can talk all about my mama. I'm drinking. Leave me alone. I'm good. There's a dorky looking dude if I've ever seen one. These museum miniatures are weird. I like them. I like just about everybody's miniatures. I mean, to be honest with you, I find it a nice challenge to paint some of these figures that have been around a long time and are, say, less than inspiring because they do turn out okay. Let's show you how we're doing so far. That's not going to turn out well. Where's my... It's weird. He's got a beard, but it looks like it's all on his chin. almost like a Abraham Lincoln looking type of thing. I don't know. Strange. They're weird. They're all hanging out with another bunch of brothers. Who knows what they're up to? Pulling each other's beard or something else. We're pulling something else. All right. So, other than the face and the beard, we've got a couple little sacks, and then we have a little bit of this, like this string, not what I'm looking at, rope or something that holds and is tying together. So we're going to do that a little bit lighter. Let's grab probably something like Iraqi sand or something like that. Not real particular what it needs to be. Even this would work, skeleton bone. But yeah, I'm a total noob at sculpting things, and as soon as I had kind of my, well, I'm not going to call it a fail, but I try to do his little hat. I'm like, I need to, before I get more involved in doing this Pope figure, I need to watch some videos on these wizards that do this green putty stuff. And yeah, I watched a couple videos, and I'm like, I had no idea that you needed to wet your hands, and I'm a total noob to it, but so we're gonna experiment with that stuff for sure, and come back to that later. Just saying, basing is one of my favorite things too. Brings all my work together. It is. It is. It's one of my. I've got some old figures that I really wasn't. Well, I've got them right here. I've got them right here. These were painted 20 years ago, 22 years ago. Wow. These are by my favorite sculptor of all time. I said I don't have heroes, but if I had a hero, this guy would be him. Dave Alsop. And these are 20 millimeter figures. Now disregard these guys that are glossy, because what I used to do is 2 coats of semi-gloss. But like this guy right here, this Corporal, I ended up putting the, I ended up flattening his thing. But these guys were painted. These are some of the first figures I ever painted using the method that I'm using now. And they were painted in the late 90s. These are my 20 millimeter Brits, and for my skirmish gaming. And I've got probably maybe 60 figures in this scale. And but look at the basing. The basing is what I like to call pre-internet. You couldn't see other people's versions and get ideas. I mean, just imagine if the basing were done to the level of my figures now. So I pulled these guys up because I'm thinking, in between stuff, I ought to base these guys up and bring them up to par. But I'm probably realistically, I'm probably not going to do any more World War II gaming. It's just going to take too long. I'm extremely anal retentive when it comes to the Second World War. I want all kinds of details in and so forth. But yeah, I love these guys. This guy's name broke off. I put surnames on all of them. So we got Campbell and Duncan, Sharp, and this guy was Phillips. It broke off or whatever. But yeah, look at the basing on it. Extremely primitive. Yep, basing lets them down. Yeah. Yeah, so this is all of my World War II figures are, I think they look stellar, okay? But the basing doesn't. The basing just looks like this. And this was just some polyester green. I was using a lot of polyester paints at the time. And I just dipped them in the sprinkles, and that was it. I moved on. I made no attempt to try to hide the bases or anything like that. So, hi, Tony. Good morning. Lovely day in Armadale with an expected top of 19 degrees centigrade. Well, I don't know what that is, but it's a lot cooler than the 105 that we had today. It was absolutely miserable. Oh, well. Yeah, so at some point, I may get around to doing these guys. But, yeah, primitive basing. Figures still look good. Love those castings. First got back into gaming, took an old army painting in the 1970s, rebased them, and they looked new. Yeah, so the basing is, we didn't have the internet to compare with people, you know? Well, that was done around 96, 97, 98. I didn't have a computer, my own computer, until 99, February 99 or whatever. I had a Gateway. I don't even remember what it was, but it was top of the line. I've bought 3 computers in my lifetime, and they all cost about the same amount of money. They all cost about $2,400, and they've all died on me, but they've all cost me about 25 cents a day. So you know they wear out. I mean, you know, after 10 years, you gotta, or less, you've got to get an upgrade, because just the ions and the particles aren't working well. They're not communicating with each other that well. So you know stuff happens. But I went 8 years without a computer at home, and I didn't get one until I didn't buy one again until between 2012 and 2020. I didn't have a computer at home. So, because during that time I had phones that were powerful, so I'm like, well, I'll just, you know, I don't want to buy something and then not use it to its full potential because things are expensive, you know, and you know, you can't have everything, so you might as well, you know, enjoy what you have and use it. But I got tired of not having a computer, and I bought it just before the pandemic came out, and good thing because, you know, now I'm sure they're probably difficult to get a hold of, or with the chips and all that, or, and I'm not going to buy something that's that expensive sight unseen. You know, I want to like physically see, okay, I like this keyboard or what have you. So, but I've gotten good use out of it. All right, we're going to do that, and we're going to make this sack the same color, this little pouch here on the side, the same color. Yeah, it's going to be hot this weekend, but we're going to plan on staying wet the whole time, so should be good. Made in China. What was I just talking about? Made in China. Oh, the computer? I'm sure some parts are. I went to yeah. It's not that it's made in China. It's made in the bad China, right? I should make it in Taiwan. Thailand. It's hard to have a show to not bring up the CCP place. Oh, those bastards. Those bastards in charge. Let's put it that way. People just fine. They got a raw deal. All right, so we're gonna put this here. Lighten it up some. So we'll watch some videos this weekend and see what it is that I need to do to, now that I've got an internet connection worth a damn. We'll see if what I got to do to be able to stream through my phone, but not on the mobile connection, so I'm deemed worthy by the YouTube gods. Because my phone connection's plenty fast to do it, but they limit all mobile filming at 720 max. Okay, so we got a little pouch there, okay, and we got a different one here. We're not going to use the same color. Let's make this one a little bit more yellow-like. Or maybe we can use that coat the arms paint. Where is that particular color? Where is this stuff made anyways? Oh, this is made in the UK. Is the UK the land of green stuff too? Does all the green stuff come from there? I love this paint. I like these bottles, but I don't like these little tabs that break off. Oh, this is actually not the color I wanted. This is Russian brown, isn't it? Yeah, I'm looking for the really khaki, but almost like has a little bit of a green tinge to it. Not that one, not that one. All right, let's stand up and see what we got here. Here it is, it fell down. So I got some, so I watched a video on how to use green stuff. Boy, there's a ton of them. Woo! I'm talking like there's hundreds of videos. And I didn't know about the water thing, keep your hands wet. And hey, I can't be an expert at everything. You know, my extent of using green stuff is I made some cannonballs. I put a turban on some figures. That's about it. So I'm not going to start casting my own figures, but it'd be nice to, you know, add a little thing here, add a little thing there for personality and so forth. But I also picked up I ordered some silicone brushes. So, and that's almost like, if you can imagine, like a brush, but then instead of it having bristles, it has almost like a squishy silicone on it. So you could like mix it and put patterns and stuff like that. I saw somebody that was using one in a video and I'm like, ooh, I got to get me some of them. And they're not expensive, you know, but we'll see. It's not exactly, it seems like it'd be pretty forgiving. But it's going to be one of those things that's kind of like, okay, when do you need to use an armature? When do you need to... I'm not going to be sculpting entire figures. But, you know, adding a little thing here or there, or, you know, making one guy different, adding a beard to him, that kind of stuff, you know. Just something to tinker around with. But there's some wizards on there. Some guys sculpting figures from scratch. They could sculpt figures, but then they can't paint them. Come on, man. Paint is child's play. This is child's play. I discriminate and I judge, though. It's definitely like, oh, that's easier. That's, you know, these sculptors, they don't get enough credit, you know. And painting is in the eye of the beholder, but I'm sorry, not all painters are to the same level. And I'm talking about like painters, you know. You can't put, well, I'll have to upset some people. Well, it's my opinion. So, you know, if you don't agree with me, that's cool. You know, you're allowed to have your opinion. Talking about Picasso. I mean, you can't talking about Spanish painters, you can't put Picasso and Velasquez in the same category. I'm sorry. It's like, you know, it's like a Yugo and a Ferrari in the same category, you know. Rembrandt and Matisse in the same one. Come on. You may like one more than the other. That's fine. But oh well. Yeah, I was fun. And what's that class called? Art appreciation. I was fun in that class. Teacher didn't like me. Well, you can't say that things are bad art or good art. I said, well, I could tell you the person had no talent. I remember the mother-in-law knew that I painted, and she said she showed me a picture of something that she wanted me to paint. And I'm like, I can't paint that. I said, why? Is that too difficult? I said, no, I couldn't live with myself if I tried to paint something like that. Today's project has made a couple of plowed fields for my Asian armies. There'll be rice paddies. Excellent. The Asian persuasion. Love me some Asian armies. I don't know. Have you guys always liked Asian armies? It seemed like nobody played Asian armies until we started playing with Asian armies. I'm not saying you're a copycat, but maybe not you, but a lot of people would say, they don't play Asian armies because they don't know anything about them. Well, that's the wrong answer. There's your whole reason to know about them. Now, if they don't make figures for them, what are you supposed to do? But if they make figures for them, learn about them, man. It's cool. As I like to say, you'll eat the food, but you won't play the army? Come on, man. The army has no MSG in it. It's all good. Asian armies are awesome. Just about all of them are competitive. And they're very exotic looking. Now, I'll tell you what Asian armies are terrible about. Flags. You'd think they'd have the coolest flags. Absolutely not. Unless you make one up. Chinese armies have some of the worst flags of anybody. They'll have like a solid color flag and with like a white field and then the character of the dynasty on it. Like, these are the people from, whatever. It's like, what? You don't have a cool dragon or any kind of like heraldry type of stuff or something like that. But you've had a Han Dynasty army for 20-ish years. Yeah, they're cool and they were around a long time, but they have a shitty flag, because I've contacted some folks over in China, but I haven't talked to them in a long time. And I'm like, hey, what's a good flag for so-and-so? Like my son have a terrible flag. I mean, it's kind of cool because it has frayed edges, but it's just a character, and it's like, man, those guys deserve better flags than that. I don't know. It just seems like it to me, But despite that, the army compositions, how they look, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Okay, I think this guy's about done. Let's take a look at him. Let's have you guys take a look at him. How about that? Kind of basic looking. He's just kneeling there in front of the Pope. Colors are kind of washed out here. It'll look better in pictures, and you know it. All right, we're done with him. That's 5 figures that are on this stand. All right, so we got this flag bearer dude, right? All right. He's also the sidekick of the Pope. Because that's like it, right? Once I paint this guy, all I got left to do is like the Pope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 6. Oh yeah, Greg, I decided to make a flag bearer for your Pope flag. So there you go. You're all happy now. I don't like how much of an angle it's at. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be he's got to be somewhat central because I don't want it sticking way out. So he's going to be behind the Pope. But all right. So the Pope is mainly going to be red. So this guy has a cross on him. He's got a hood. I think we're going to make the hood red. And what if we do these robes in white? I think we'll do that. Make this like a cardinal or some sidekick. Let's just paint him up. Let's just jump in there. Let's not worry about it too much. Let's jump in there and, well, probably colors washed out, but flesh looks very pale. Yeah, it doesn't look like that way in real life. Yeah, he's definitely fleshy. There you go. Maybe you could see him there a little bit. This light does all kinds of weird stuff to the photos. So, and I think I'm gonna have to call in any photos. I'm gonna have to call the wife in to take pictures. You know, she's, it's not that my camera is junk. I just don't know how to use it. Apparently, I tinker with it. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. I try to take 12 pictures. If I'm not happy with any of them, it's like I got to pick one of them. First Asian Army was for TBA campaign at Historicon 2009. Mine was too. I love that army. I love my Chin army, despite it having 4 warband. They don't have a good win record. You're now an influencer. You're an enabler. That's even more important. I've done that. I've done some enabling. Oh, I saw your video, and now all of a sudden I bought this. Well, sorry, dude. It's not my turn to watch you. Okay, let's go ahead and do the white robe part first. Let's get that over with. An influencer. Yep. You gonna make any more videos, or are you just gonna be stick with the one? It's probably as frustrating making the videos. If you've never made one, you don't understand all the. It takes a lot of effort, and I'm not talking about filming the video. I'm talking everything that happens after the filming. It's a pain. It's a pain in the butt. Let's try doing this. Let's not do gray. Video influencer. So anyways, just to cut to the chase, I'm not going to stop this army. I'm going to finish this army completely. I'm not going to stop and break off and do the Amorites because the pace is good. The pace is good. We got some crossbow guys. We're going to try to mass produce them. I hate saying that things have gone better painting multiple guys at a time, but they've gone better painting multiple guys at a time. I don't think I've tried painting multiple guys at a time while filming. So the fact that it bores me, it still bores me, but the fact that it bores me and I give up is kind of not been the case because by being filmed, I'm forced to stay on task. So. Working on later Imperial Roman cataphracts and ballista. Excellent. Welcome, Mike B. I have a late Imperial Roman East and a late Imperial Roman West army to do. Again, Mitch got them too, so, not a big incentive in doing that. Not that there's anything wrong with them. They're certainly cool. But if you got somebody you play with regularly and they already have an army, it's kind of like, I could just build an army that we don't have. Or have another one of the same ones that we already do. That's just kind of a no-brainer for me. I mean, I guess some people enjoy playing Civil Wars, but I don't. There's 500 and something armies in the book. Why do we need to have the same army? Now, if it happens, it happens. Or if, Mitch had done something like, I only want Spanish armies. Well, tough crap. I'm going to have some Spanish armies too, but short of that, yeah, might as well work on stuff that neither one of us has. He doesn't have already. Probably be doing another one next week showing the board and deployment for the Battle of Aylesford with early Anglo-Saxons and sub-Roman Brits. My money's on the sub-Roman Brits. Early Anglo-Saxons. I don't think that Mitch has won a battle with his. I don't think he has. Those poor guys are terrible. enough of this basic color. Let's start adding a little bit more white and bringing it out. Let's see them against the Samnite. Should be fun. They did. The Samnites wiped the floor with them. The problem with the Samnites is that solid auxilia, once they get on a flank, they can't turn the flank very fast. That's really it, you know. They're okay. They don't have very many tools, so I do need to build some allies for them so that they have a few more options. But I have a Norse Irish army that Mitch won in a tournament, and it was an Essex army. He just gave it to me. I painted something for him instead. He's like, here, have this army, just paint a camp for me or whatever. He got a camp with him, and I'm like, oh, cool. So they're on my to-do list, but after playing a whole army with a bunch of solid ox, you know, that's the only problem with solid ox is it's very hard to flank with them because they just don't have that mobility. Early Anglo-Saxons are speed bumps. Yeah, not very good ones at that. Paper mache speed bumps. All right, I'm going to get some more coffee. I'll be right back, folks. All right. Got to break off and head down to town. Catch you later. Enjoy your weekend away. We'll try. Down to town. You live out in the hills or something? The center of town. What time is it? 9:30. We're good for about another half hour. We got to get to bed. Hey, got a guy done, a monk. I don't know. I need to lay out how this stand's going to be. I may not like how he looks on the stand. We'll just use him for something else, you know? That's okay. That's perfectly all right. Sometimes it's better just do it and not worry about, well, what if this doesn't work out? What if you don't? Nah, just go. I know the reason I haven't gotten a lot of things done in the past is because of stuff like that. Worry about too much of the, well, what if it doesn't turn out how I like it? Nah, it'll be just fine. Things like my Persian camp, I ended up painting about 3 figures that didn't make the final base. Yeah, you'll use them for something else. Yeah, you got a lot of figures in that camp too. That's a lot of figures, man. DBMM and in 28 millimeter. Whew. That's a lot of painting. I was kind of surfing around the other day and I found out about a new set of rules that look kind of interesting, called Fantastic Battles. Of course, it didn't really solve one of the problems that I have with DBA, which is the whole alignment thing. They still looks like they align just like DBA, which is, if I'm going to play another set of rules, we're going to do away with that. We're going to have combat at whatever angle that they hit. That's just one of those things that I've just dealt with it over years, but it just doesn't sit well with me. It seems very symmetrical, but it looks like there's a lot of people playing that. Made by the same people who did, I guess it's called Irregular Wars or whatever. Somebody had seen that they did a conquistador type mini campaign using those set of rules, but they used a terminology on there. I read kind of the description of what the rules are. One of the terminology is they used a scale neutral or something like that. I forget exactly the terminology, but it was a terminology that I'd never heard of them before. Scale agnostic, I think is what it was. Like it's not made for particular scale or particular basing. You can kind of do whatever you want. But I'm like, oh, this might be cool. I'm like, hopefully it doesn't have the align base. Oh, it does. Okay, well, no reason to do it then. I want to play a game without a line. I gotta try Impetus. I've got the rules for Impetus, and just see what that's like. I know people, because some people play it, some people absolutely hate it. Um, you know, better have the choice. Yeah, Persians will have taken about a year when finally finished. Yeah. Well, I totally see that happening. With that many figures, that big. If I was going to paint 28s, if somebody held a gun to my head and say, you have to paint 28s from now on, I would make sure they would be based in a way that I could use them in a skirmish game if I needed to. So in other words, they'd be on individual stands that would fit on a larger base that I could pop them off that base. You don't like the look of Impetus. So the way I would do Impetus is, because Impetus is basically like a unit of skirmishers. I haven't played it, but I've looked at the scale. A unit of skirmishers, like a unit of Saloy, is 4 times bigger than a regular unit. So it would be like 4 of these, right? It'd be 2 across and 2 deep. So it would just be easy to just say, you know what? We're not doing that. We're playing with regular size stands. And then you just have all the measurements, right? Because it's half as wide and it's half as deep. So all your movements, all your ranges would just be halved, and then you have the same size stands as DBA. And to try playing it that way, because I'm not painting multiple stands. If I'm going to add more detail to the game, then the game's going to have more detail in it. It's not going to just be like, you know. What I do like about it is that certain nights are better than other certain nights and stuff like that. And then maybe not necessarily for a tournament, but at least for, trying to recreate historical battles or something like that. I just want to see what it's like. I may hate it, you know. You know, I played a couple of games of Armati, and what I hated about Armati is if your guys weren't in the right place, they were out of the battle. You know, you could maneuver so little that laterally that you were just basically screwed. Well, that's no fun, you know. Now, there's a lot of things I did like about it, but that was one of them that was a real breaker in the whole hidden deployment and leave the table while I set up and all those things that, you know, non-gaming. So, you like the DBM grades? I do too. I just can't fathom. I mean, if you ran a game, I'm sure Mitch and I would like it. The problem is I just don't have it in me to play a game 150 times wrong before I get it right once. There's just so many. There's just I can't deal with more Barker. I just can't, and it's not his rule. It's just the way his rules are organized. I can't do it anymore. You know, it's a shame. You know, it's not anything that he does. Just the way the rules are organized. I just I'm gonna go senile. You know, when I by the time I'm 55. You know, if I keep doing that anymore. You know, just going around in circles and well, this period's here, so he means this. I just don't have it in me anymore. It just shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, I've played Advanced Squad Leader. I've played all kinds of complicated games, and DBA by far is the most complicated, confusing, difficult to learn game I've ever played. And it's because of the way not even the writing style, the way it's organized. You know, you got to find if something's a certain troop type or another, and it's hidden in one place and it should be somewhere else. And I just don't have it in me to learn another system that way. I mean, this has been a long, almost 20 years struggle with this, and we still get things wrong, and that's just it. Just shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, they say, oh, there are rules for 8-year-olds. Okay, I may not be the smartest guy, but I'm above average intelligence, and I can't figure it out sometimes. And it's like, you know, it shouldn't be that difficult. Next time you're in Florida, organize a DVMM game for you guys. Make sure you bring figures. We don't have enough to do them. I'm knowing the way we would like. We would love I got the perfect plan, and then it rains, or it's sundown, or all that extra fluff. We love that kind of stuff. I just don't want to get it wrong, you know. And create, as I like to say, an asterisk game. A game that you made a mistake and it doesn't count because, well, it does count, but it's unsatisfying. It's unsatisfying to play a game like that. Okay, so let's do. I got a dark red around here somewhere. It's this color, isn't it? If you come to Florida, make sure you come in our winter. Do yourself a favor. Don't come now. Whew. All right. We're going to use this color here. out some black, and this is going to be the color of his, whoa, it's going to be darker than that, of his like vest that he has on. He has kind of a vest that's padded, probably the best way to describe it. That's what this guy's going to wear. And he's got a top cloak that's going to be red. So I want this guy to look like he's somebody important. He's just not the main guy, you know? All right. Well, the flag is going to be mostly red. So whatever flagpole I'm going to do is probably going to be a light color. Just to make it pop a little bit more. At least that's what I'm thinking. Okay, let's maybe add a little bit more highlighting in a few places. I know the place that we used to have our show in Orlando. For whatever reason, it was kind of a has-been place, an old hotel and kind of an old tourist area, and there was a lot of people from Commonwealth countries, let's put it that way, that would go there, either UK or Australia, something like that. Not Canadians. I'm sure there was Canadians there as well, but yeah, it's kind of a rundown place. So I wonder if it was some place that was being pushed by some travel agent or something like that. But there was always a lot of people from overseas at this hotel, and it's kind of a has-been, kind of a rundown place. Not dangerous, but just it's not anywhere that I'd want to bring the girls to stay at. You know, but this flat red, it is flat red. All right, let's do this guy's cloak. This guy also has a beard. The Pope doesn't. There have been popes with beards, but depictions of several of them are like clean shaven, and this guy will be clean shaven as well. Although this guy could have done as a pope in a jiffy as well. The thing is he's got a hood. I don't really want to put him in a hood. So even though the figure that I'm going to use for the Pope has a hood, we're gonna grind that down, and we're gonna make a new cloak for him. So that's at least what I'm thinking. Okay, a little bit more red. A lot of thumbs up tonight. Maybe you guys are seeing better video quality. I hope so. It's a small step in the right direction. Any of you guys seen that Netflix series or movie, The Two Popes or whatever? Is that worth watching? Or is it just ends up being a bunch of ecclesiastical mumbo jumbo? I don't know. They cast two guys that they did a pretty good job as far as likeness. Thought that was pretty neat. We're just cheap. Are you? That place was a dump. You guys have to be cheap, man. You get taxed to death. I mean, going overseas is so expensive. I can't imagine. I can't imagine how long somebody would have to save to do that. And then you stay somewhere that's kind of sucky. You know? You know, it's not that it needs to be all posh and stuff, but you don't want to have a bad experience when you're spending that kind of money. You know, not something that you do every day. I don't know how the hell we're going to go overseas ever. Just don't have enough days off. Forget cost. You could plan that. But the days off is just a nightmare. I take one day off and it's a freaking zoo when I come back. Actually, earlier this week, I had to go to the dentist for something that didn't take really very long. I was gone like an hour and it was a freaking mess when I came back. So, taking a couple weeks off in a row was like prohibitive for me. I would just have to do way too much work ahead of time. It just isn't worth it. And then clean everything back up. So we're pretty much going to have to call this a night where it is, but this is where we're at so far. And I don't know what we're going to put on his head. I don't want to do white because the Pope's hat's going to be white. Ironic, so probably just different shade of red or something like that. He's wearing just kind of a... I don't think it's a helmet. I think it's just some kind of cloth thing on there. But anyhow, well, got some stuff done tonight. You guys got a little bit better video quality. Hopefully we'll keep moving forward and making progress. Thanks for stopping by. How long were we on here? An hour and 45 minutes. That's not too bad, considering we started so late. But anyhow, we'll catch you guys next time. And yeah, happy painting. See you, folks. Bye-bye.